So you're interested in becoming an officer in the sector. Let's go over your resume. Starship combat piloting skills. Very useful. Trading, financing, and resource management skills. Managing entire planets and industries, really. Working on academic research missions. Experience charting and exploring the cosmos. Excellent. Experience dealing with, hey, you can't write that or say it. You have to put redacted. Yes, redacted. Do not let that happen again. Very taboo in the sector. Okay, well, all in all, this is a very impressive repertoire. There are some more particular skills I'd like to go over, but we will have to save that for later. For now, watch your TrustCo employee onboarding video.
What we are doing in the sector is something that a lot of groups are trying to replicate. We lead by example, you know.
The thing that makes me most proud about working here is that I'm an important part of the future of the sector and of helping to fulfill our vision, which is largely confidential, but still.
The culture of cooperation and blind servitude here makes me proud to be part of TrustCo.
The staff at TrustCo bring their passion and acceptance to their work each and every day. Through their jobs they are happy to commit to an ambiguous capitalist empire that is the envy of factions across the sector. You'll see how rewarding the work can be when you're making a real contribution to the betterment of the entire sector, and especially for 1 to 5 of us in particular.
When I started here, I realized quickly that living on a volcanic planet in the mining industry wasn't so bad as long as I could return home for a calming shot of recreational drugs, which is happily produced and imported by TrustCo through our own open market. For our benefit.
No, try again. Yes, you have to. Just read it, it's easy. Yes.
Okay. We all found that unionizing wasn't the answer. That was very clear. But the combination of armed Marines and military bases and government-owned drug dealers was actually really nice.
When it all comes together, it's like symbiosis, and seeing all these countless people working together to make as much money as possible blows me away.
Love all, trust a few, do wrong to none. TrustCo, are you in?
Wow, okay, wow. Good. Do you like high explosives and hunks of metal where every inch of space is used for weapon mounts or thrusters? Do you like explosions so intense that they flashbang the entire battlefield? Do you like profiting by any means available? How about a fully simulated sector of space which will morph and live whether you have an impact or don't? Starsector. Starsector is described as an open-world, single-player, space combat, role-playing exploration, and economic game. It is a vast description. This game really has something for everyone. Multitudes of playstyles that are fully fleshed out. Play as a trader, a mercenary, a contractee for one of the major factions, an explorer, a scavenger, a smuggler, start your own colonies, start your own entire faction, play the market, go to war, deal with shady bar patrons, raid planets, stations, good guys, bad guys, holy shit. Do anything, but whatever you do, make as much money as you can. Money can be translated into anything you want, and you can never have enough. Ever. You gotta pay your crew, buy ships, pay officers, planet administrators, pay off enemy officers, pay off space muggers, pay for production of weapons and hulls, fuel and supplies. You need every scrap of money, because it allows you to make even more money. Let me fix the description of the game really quick. Starsector is an economic open-world, economic single-player, economic space combat, economic role-playing, economic exploration, and economic game. Much better. You start by picking an edgy portrait and starting fleet to facilitate your playstyle. There is a tutorial that gives you some good stuff and teaches you how to play. Play it if you're new. Get some starting capital and buy a massive cargo ship and a massive fuel tanker. Take every survey and exploration contract possible and plot out a course to hit like 6 or 7 of them in a row, all in the same trip. Then fly across the core worlds and pick up every job possible again. from transmissions which must travel through space in real time, rinse and repeat, expand your ships, colonize planets, set up industry, and get targeted by everyone. Let me tell you about all the factions here in the space ghetto. The domain of man ruled over countless galaxies and everything was great, but then the collapse occurred, and the gateways that allowed for intergalactic travel were disrupted, and now everyone is stuck in this sector, cut off from the rest of the domain, and naturally, everyone just starts fighting and splitting off into their own ideologies. The Hegemony is a militarist faction assembled from some remains of the domain of man, enacting the old principles, trying to control the sector, and enabling domain-style martial law. The Sindrian Diktat is a military dictatorship founded by one rogue hegemony general. The Independents are multitudes of separate entities that together make up a major faction. The Persian League was made to contradict the hegemony and believe the hegemony's policies, taken from a dead era, should be phased out. Tritachyon Incorporated is the most powerful megacorporation remaining in the sector, specializing in AI development and capitalizing off their newfound independence from the galaxy at large. The Ludic Church is a faction formed on returning to a simpler form of living and blaming advances in technology and AI cores for the collapse of civilized space. If you didn't know, a Luddite is a person opposed to new technology or ways of working. Anywho, the Ludic Path is a cell of interstellar terrorists following the Ludic Church's dogma, only through much more radical means. And well, pirates who, do pirate stuff, space pirate stuff, pirates. This game doesn't seem like it would be much of a story-driven game, but if you actually take the time to read the dialogue and the available quests, it's actually pretty interesting with lots of history and lore to learn about, which I do like. There is separate music for each faction that changes based on the interaction. Here, listen. The Ludic Church, for example, has droning choirs and bombastic chimes. Tritachyon has phaser sounds and the whirring of machinery incorporated into the music. The Sindrian Diktat has horns and strings over this driving chant of percussion. It sounds like a dictatorial regime. Listen to the friendly and hostile encounter themes for the Sindrian Diktat in comparison. Oh, this is nice. These are my friends and we are imposing and powerful. To, oh shit, I'm being oppressed and my freedom is gone. Now they are the villains. Get me the heck out of here. That's really cool and it makes the factions all feel individual. They have their own ship designs, combat tendencies, specializations, and legal systems with illegal goods. Starsector simulates a living economy with supply and demand. Check market prices, there's tons of data available to you. Trade convoys get blown up in space, and that results in a shortage for the planet. It's pretty impressive how in-depth it can go. You can set up your own colonies, like I said, if you're lucky enough to find a planet in the uncharted expanse that isn't a molten, blasted, floating rock with no atmosphere, and get bullied and harassed by every other faction. Ludic Path sleeper cells, and lost trade ships. But through massive investment, you might end up with a solid passive income. And it is integral to your gameplay that enough is never even close to enough. I want more. Harvest the energy from a trinary star system with a coronal hypershunt tap. Deal with anyone. Taxes are 30% in the sector. Are you kidding me? There are no taxes on the black market. Turn off your transponder and go dark before any patrols notice you, and do your shady business without any record, and phase out of there without using a jump point. This is great business. No, really, you should come live here and contribute to the market. What, you think it's immoral that we don't answer distress signals? They're traps, always, I'm telling you. Or that we do business with pirates and terrorists? I call it a freelancer. Like a freelance contractor who fills your driveway with fresh cement, and then fills your neighbors too. We, similarly, fill your driveway with truckloads of drugs and weapons, plus your neighbor, across the border. I digress. Let us explore the sector. Space storms to bounce me all over the goddamn place. Go slowly. Slipstreams to help or hinder your trek. All manner of derelict space stations, broken ships, planets, asteroid belts, black holes, and pulsars from neutron stars. I don't recommend getting hit by one of these, but they look really cool. Not to mention the wows and mysterious how those are. Let me explain the history of... This is the lore video now. So way back... Another cool detail is that in combat, the background isn't 20 random space wallpapers. It gives you the actual things you're near to look at. And let us speak of combat. Finally, where do I even start? You can pilot your own ship. It takes a lot of getting used to, and is hard to pilot effectively. To be honest, most of the time I just let the autopilot handle it because it's better than I am, but it sure is satisfying to pull off. There are millions of different ship designs and weapons and hull modifications and fighter wings to use. It goes on forever. You've got your damage types, especially good at breaking down shields, or armor plating or shooting missiles down, whatever. They can even disable thrusters or specific weapons or systems. If I'm going to be fighting high-tech enemies like Tritachyon, I may want extra anti-shield weapons. If you're that much of a tryhard, the amount of micromanagement you can do in customizing your ships is insane. Let us refit this one ship. Ordnance points are spent on everything. Hull mods like improved armor, fighter bays, or targeting systems. Mounts of different types can be fitted with their respective weapons, naturally, of many kinds, all costing ordnance points. Any kind of remaining point can typically be thrown into flux capacity or vents. Ships generate flux when firing weapons or taking hits on their shields. Or you can just press the autofit button, which is easy. You can at least specify the type of make you want. You can even set the doctrine for your faction's fleets, like allowed hulls, weapons, or wings. Then you can allocate your resources to more ships, or better quality ships, or better officers. You can manage everything. It's the perfect level of intricacy for a game like this, because it's not impossible to figure out. It's just giving you a lot of options. There are even phase class ships, which, instead of shields, temporarily go to another dimension called P-Space, where they can't be hit. We have to take a second to take in the visual noise we get in fights. Look how satisfying that is. All those numbers. Oh my god. A lot of detail goes into designing every individual weapon, their visual and sound effects. It feels really good to play, and it feels realistic. Look at this Atlas-class super freighter. You can tell what it's about just from its design. A big vulnerable hulking frame filled with storage space, and that's what it is. How about this Reaper-class torpedo? I can tell by looking at this thing that it's gonna hurt really badly. I don't need to read the description, and well, yeah, it does hurt really badly. Remember those AIs that Tritachyon was developing? They come in 3 tiers. all of which are insanely condemned by everyone and considered dangerous because they're superior to us lowly humans. They're even illegal within Tritachyon itself, but no way would a mega corporation do anything illegal or hypocritical. AI cores are insanely useful, however. Use them to pilot ships, manage industries, manage entire planets, which lets you go over the cap, might I add. I dream of a sector where every planet is 2001: A Space Odyssey, except HAL 9000 isn't just in the ships, he's in every goddamn vending machine and streetlight, and surely there's no downside to any of that in-game. The reality of the situation is that Starsector is infinitely replayable and insanely worth the price of like $15. So just buy it, just do it. If it looks cool, buy it. This game is the passion project of only 4 developers who are geniuses. It got an update on the 13th of March, just a couple weeks ago. It's a sound investment, and if you ever somehow do everything in the game, there are a lot of mods to add tons and tons of shit. So take a look. Also, I must mention, holy crap, I have almost 300 subscribers now. That is very cool. Thank you for all the encouraging words. It does mean a lot. Leave a comment on this video. Give me feedback and everything. I read them all. Trust me. And yeah, like and sub and all that. Tax information reveal at 10,000 subs. And to bring it back to the start, you're hired. Good night.